Well, believe it or not, we are almost 3/4 of the way through August. I can't believe it. We've got all kinds of things going on this month. We got some new viewers like Bruce and Jen. We've got some new YouTube subscribers and just lots of activity out here in the garden. I'm going to try to fit it all into a couple of videos, but there's so much to show you. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do that. But today we're going to start on the far end of the garden, out here in the winter squash area. And it might look like a disaster there, but really the vines are still alive, and all those squash are looking just fine. In fact, there's even new ones coming in. That's a Waltham butternut right there. Although things look a little pathetic, they're really, everything is doing just fine, so I'm not too concerned about it. But you can see how overgrown it is here. Oh, and there's a pumpkin hiding down right in there. Because we can't get a lawnmower back in here with all the vines and stuff, so it gets kind of crazy. These racer pumpkins have just been doing great. They've even escaped the garden, and there's a couple out there. And I think there's one even back in there. You can just barely see them sneaking over the garden fences and busting out. This is the melon patch, and let me show you this video that we shot about a week ago about melon harvesting. Hi, Ma. We're in the melon patch, huh, Ma? Now, here in the melon patch, things are starting to look a little tired, and leaves are starting to yellow, and vines are starting to thin out some. But we have harvested a bunch of melons, and today, as a matter of fact, we have one that is ready to go. So here's what you look for when you're harvesting a melon. You look at this stem right here, and the fact that it is separating from the melon itself, that is a sure sign that the melon is ready to be harvested. So it just pops off like that. That little button is left behind, and you got one fine, fresh, ripe melon ready to go. Yummy. Yes, yum indeed. And back to today, you can see that these greenish melons, those are called Savor. The one that we harvested was a Sarah's Choice, and that one's just about ready. Melons have a high casualty rate, meaning they tend to split, the rodents tend to go after them, they tend to rot. But we've had lots of good melons so far this year, and there's some in the fridge even as we speak, and we have consumed quite a few, so a pretty good melon year all the way around. Meanwhile, summer squash, there's a yellow crookneck. They're slowing down a little bit, and you might be able to see that they're starting to get a little powdery mildew and some browning and yellowing, which is typical for this time of year. But they're still producing. We're still getting quite a bit of summer squash, although I can't show you any of the others right now. But you'll also notice that those are not summer squash. Those are Waltham butternuts that have snuck all the way over from there, because the winter squash they vine like crazy, and they're doing great, so we don't mind them coming over here and encroaching on the summer squash. I don't even think I can find a zucchini to show you. There's a couple of a little one down in there, but we've been regularly harvesting all summer long zucchini, and it's been very steady and very consistent, very nice. And Jessie is, of course, working on her landscaping as usual. Meanwhile, these are so-called giant tomatoes. As you can see, there's lots of them. We have harvested lots of them. Oh, there's one that's fallen on the ground, but yeah, that'll be fine. And they've been delicious. We've brought pounds and pounds into work. We're to share with the folks from work. And these are the ones that I didn't remember the name of last time around. They're called Dafel, D-A-F-E-L. Nice little round tomatoes, very well shaped, and they're slowing down a bit, but they've been pretty good all summer long. And then, of course, our favorite here, if you can get around all the marigolds that we got, is Juliet. And they have just continued to be wonderful again this year. Just coming in profusely, and they will continue to come in at least for another month or so. Just doing great. We're also having a really fine pepper year. These are Ace peppers right here. That's Molly. She's not a pepper. But those are Carmen right there. And there's lots of them, as you can see. I could have done a better job at staking these guys. Some of them are kind of falling over. But we're getting very good harvests anyway. And out here, these look similar to Carmen's, but these are called Bucillus. They're a little skinnier. Very fine. And then don't forget that we also have on the back deck our chili peppers, our red hots. These are habaneros, and we also have these red paper lantern. Those are supposed to be fiery also. And Pardon, which can be sweet or hot. And finally Andy, which are long slender chili peppers. And look at how nice and bright red they are getting. They should be very nice. Meanwhile, back here in the garden proper, okra, doing very fine this year. Does fine most years. We can barely keep ahead of it. And then we've got sweet potatoes, as Molly is exploring to try and keep the place free of varmints and rodents in particular. But as is typical for sweet potatoes, they have covered this bed completely. But we won't find out what we have in the way of harvest until it comes time to dig them up. But speaking of digging things up, this is the potato bed. And last time we were just getting ready to harvest red Norlands and also the onions, which are on the far end of this bed. And as you can see, here are the red Norlands and also the onions. And everything was very nice. I think we got about 22 pounds of each. And in the meantime, we have replanted the onion area with a second planting of brassicas and some spinach. We're going to try to get our a little better results from our spinach this time around. And also in this bed, we had these volunteers come up. That's some kind of giant sunflower, and I sort of worked around it and decided to let it go. But let me show you this video that was shot a little while ago on potato harvest, and then we'll come back. So today in the garden we are digging for gold, Yukon gold potatoes to be exact. So I'm going to take my trusty garden fork here and dig under all this brown stuff here and see how many potatoes we can come up with. Hopefully I won't spear many of them, and hopefully we don't have rodent damage. Those are the two big factors in getting a good potato harvest, other than the potatoes themselves growing. So let's get to it. So there you have it. Nice harvest of gold. Yukon gold. No rodent damage whatsoever. I think I only spiked one of them. And those are a couple of very nice Yukon gold potatoes. And then there was even a few rogues in there. I'm not sure what these are. These are potatoes that wintered over and grew in there, and we just let them go and got a few nice ones out of that too. So there we go. Gold in them thar potato hills.